What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Highlife Reel. I'm Bill Rom.
Josh Shapiro.
And let's get started with the headliner. Headliner this week, the NBA trade season and trade deadline was bonkers.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot more trades happened this year than have happened in the past, and none of them were bigger than the Cavs trades. The Cavs traded more players on one day than it had happened in something like 30 years of the trade deadline. What was your take on the Cavs makeover?
I think it was a LeBron makeover. It was what could we do for LeBron, make LeBron happy. But at the end of the day, you got to make LeBron happy. And as you see what happened the other day against the Celtics, the team seemed to mesh really well. LeBron was able to do the things that he's been looking to do with the team, but he wasn't able to do with the kind of guys that he was playing with. So, again, it's the same thing. You could stack a team as much as you want to stack a team, but if they can't work together, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how well you stack a team on paper. So, with LeBron getting the pieces that he now needed to do the things that he wanted to accomplish, now, the Cavs, I think, are an NBA Finals team.
I think looking at, the balance of teams, when you look at the successful teams that are out there, it's either everybody's the same age or it's an older guy, maybe two, and a lot of younger guys. I feel like the Cavs were too spread across in terms of their age. You had the old heads who Dwayne Wade wanted to be able to just chuck up shots when he wanted to. That wasn't fitting. Derrick Rose was past his prime. He's no longer an all-star, but he wants to be an all-star. You have guys who were burned out from LeBron because they were guys on nice contracts. They've made money in the league. They've won championships. They kind of are like, I'm not hungry anymore because the things I wanted out of the game, I've gotten. And when they move Wade for pretty much nothing, it's like a heavily protected second-round pick. You get rid of Derrick Rose. You get rid of Amon Shumpert, and you kind of cut this back end of your roster. And the players they got back, I almost look at it like, how did you get so many good players for your team who fit what you want? They've completely rechanged over their point guard position. They've got Clarkson now, and they've got George Hill. George Hill gives them a guy who can steady the lineup, play great on-ball defense. Then when he comes out of the lineup, it completely changes the sauce, and Clarkson can score. And he's going to be able to put up points, and he's going to be able to put up buckets if he's not a distributor. That's fine. You don't have to be a distributor at point guard when LeBron's on the floor. He's going to take the ball up, and he's going to do it. Rodney Hood is a 6'8" wing player who can score. They all of a sudden have athletic scorers everywhere, and Nance, I think, gives them the big athletic guy to match up against the Warriors if they were to make it to a finals against the Warriors. I am very impressed. Everybody talked a lot about the Cavs GM situation and how it shaped in the summer. I'm super impressed with this guy Colby and what he was able to pull together and execute. Pretty much seemed overnight.
Yeah.
He just decided, and the team was different.
I think what you said back when you said that guys have gotten all they wanted out of basketball, and those are the guys that were playing with LeBron. It's the kind of guys that when LeBron dribbled down the court, they wanted that ball, they wanted that shot. And now it's the kind of guys where they're just dishing. They're like, yo, you do you. We'll orchestrate with you.
Yeah.
And that's what LeBron needs, and that's what the Cavs need because they're centered around LeBron. And you should be centered around LeBron. He's arguably the greatest basketball player of all time.
Yeah.
So you should be centered around that guy.
Yeah.
So now that he has those guys to be around him and do the things that he needs to get done, the Cavs will be a better team. Like I said, the Cavs are scary. They went in there on Paul Pierce jersey, retirement day, and they just ran over the Cavs. And we've seen ran over Celtics. And we've seen a little bit of a slide in the Celtics and a little bit of a slide in the Warriors. And I think part of that is they're both of them are young teams. They're used to playing that college season, and now they're playing a longer season, so they're trying to get into that point where they need that All-Star break.
I think you're starting to see it's the same thing that the Cavs just went through, and I credit the GM for kind of doing it. The Cavs were a team that have been to the finals every year, right? And you have a lot of players who were on that team who were burned out from that grind because it's a lot to every year want to get back to the finals. And LeBron's motivation level is
absurd.
Different, right? It's that Kobe, it's that Jordan, like, I don't care what I have to do. Every year I'm going to show up and win a championship, and I want to. I'm hungry to win it. And that's difficult. Like I say it with you all the time, we say it with athletes, right? Like, everybody wants to be the best in the world one day. Not everybody wants to be the best in the world every day.
Yeah.
LeBron wakes up trying to be the best in the world.
Yeah.
And when he's asking the rest of his team around him, guys, we want to be the best in the world. We want to be the best that there is right now. There's guys who are out there who are like, yo, I want to listen to my music. I want to go and I want to, like, rap on the side.
I want to go party tonight.
I want to go do this and that. And, like, I already won a championship. I've been to the finals. I'm making $12 million a year.
That's what separates LeBron from everybody else.
Well, but now you pretty much got rid of all the people who weren't hungry. You brought in a bunch of people who were like, we have not won a damn thing in the league. We've been on bad teams or mediocre teams. We've not gotten to the promised land, to that fulfillment point, and we now have LeBron. And we now have the player that can make everything happen. And listen, Kevin Love is going to come back and is a good player. And you're going to mix him in with, I think Tristan Thompson's the guy who gets hurt when Love comes back, because I think they're going to play Nance and Kevin Love a lot more often, because Nance can be more versatile of a defender. He might not be the same rebounder. He's a slam dunk
guy, too. He gives you a little hype, a little back, you know.
And LeBron can run up the court, and he's got a guy who's trailing with him that he can throw a ball up in the air, and that guy can dunk it.
Yeah.
Really, really impressed that they were able to reset culture overnight and bring in players who want to listen to LeBron. 100%. They want LeBron to lead them.
Yep.
And you had a group of people who were tired of hearing his voice.
Yep.
Amazing to see that. We've talked a lot about the NBA season this year. Do you think that this trade shifts the landscape in the East? Do you
100%.
think the Cavs go back to being
100%.
the team?
Yeah, 100%.
I agree, and I think the Celtics are going to run into that same point. They've been burning on all ends.
It's a little spark plug. It's just like when you in the major leagues, when you call a young prospect up and he comes up and tears the league. It's a new energy.
Yeah.
If you don't get that new energy, it's again the same thing. You can never be complacent from where you are.
Yeah.
If you're the best in the league, how could you bring in a guy who's now a big or a clubhouse leader? How could you get rid of a guy that's maybe X and Y, not listening to the guy, and bring in a young, hungry kid who may not have the most talent? But if you work with LeBron, you automatically become better. And that's exactly what the Cavs did. They did a tremendous job. I think literally 60% of that trade was all probably LeBron telling him, I want him, and him, get rid of him, and him, and then we'll be here.
Listen, I'm not putting that on LeBron. I don't think LeBron could possibly have orchestrated as much as he did.
I
think he could say the players he wanted gone.
Yeah.
That he could say, find trades for these guys.
Yeah. Because
they don't fit. Like, Amon Shumpert's making $12 million a year to be a terrible basketball player.
It was funny when they won the game that LeBron won. That was amazing. You got the inbound. They were showing a video of him doing, they were all jumping up together, and he, left Isaiah Thomas out. And they were and that was the day before Isaiah got traded, and everyone was at that moment, everyone knew Isaiah was left out of the circle, and he was gone.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying. LeBron was literally dude, you're, goodbye.
And
I don't know if that's true or not.
And listen, good luck to Isaiah to go and be able to be whoever he's going to be.
That's interesting. There's
a reason why the Celtics were willing to get rid of Isaiah. There's a reason why the Cavs are willing to move on from Isaiah. And you look at it and you say, he just didn't fit what they were doing.
Yeah.
And that's okay, right? I think George Hill fits better because he's going to play really good defense on the point guard, and he's going to wear down point guards in the league and force them to have to go around a bigger bodied point guard who's going to consistently bring effort, and that's going to slow down offenses that run that. If they do go against and he has to go to Kyrie, you saw it in that game. He's going to torment Kyrie, and he doesn't care if he scores because the point guard on the bench, Clarkson, is going to come out and hibachi the place and light it up and turn everything up.
Did you see an interesting quote yesterday from LeVar Ball?
Which?
He said that his son will probably not re-sign with the Lakers in 3 years. He wants to be on a team where all three of his boys can play on the same team.
LeVar is crazy, man. And Clarkson, they asked Clarkson, what'd you think of LeVar? And he's like, I can't answer that right now.
Yeah.
It
came out yesterday that LeVar said that he just...
LeVar's got to stop talking.
Yeah.
You can say whatever you want, and if your son is saying that, cool. Are you trying to tell me that he's going to go international? Because it's the only way he's going to get all three boys on the same team. Because one of your sons is clearly not good enough to play in the NBA.
Chilo.
Right? and your youngest dude, he probably could do it, but he's going to be an undersized point guard no matter what. Like, your only truly talented kid who's going to be like an elite level kid is the one who's there. Start letting him live his life and be himself.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Anyway, moving along, guys, we have Between the Lines. The big Between the Lines is the once every 4 years edition of Between the Lines. The Olympics. I am not a huge fan.
I'm not a huge Olympic guy.
Of the Winter Olympics. I love the Summer Olympics.
Yes.
I feel like I'm engrossed in things more because I enjoy the feats of strength and speed and stuff that goes. I just don't understand. But beyond that, it's always cool seeing snowboarding.
Yes.
And it's always cool watching, American teams win and get awards and do stuff that they haven't done before. So the two people that we're highlighting today, Chloe Kim wins the half pipe gold, got a 98.5
on her first run too,
and wins the gold medal and kills it. Amazing job there.
17 years old,
and to think to do it when you're that young. It goes back. It's the same thing. Like you saw Shaun White had a great score also.
Yes.
Right. We expected of him at this point because he's been doing it for a long time. But he was that 16-year-old Olympic phenom, and she's that next addition. If she can parlay this into more.
Did you know she was tweeting in between runs?
Good for her.
She tweeted, "I'm hungry" or something like that. Like, I didn't eat my sandwich today. I'm now hangry, and everyone was like, people were writing back like, "Aren't you in the middle of a run?" She wrote back, "Yeah." And someone was like, "How are you typing? Aren't your hands cold?" And she's like, "Nah, I'm good." And then boom, just absurd, pure talent.
But you know what? That's
real. That's cool.
That's also what the new athlete like that in an independent sport should be doing. Like, she's got her personal brand that she's going to be able to build now. And Shaun White did both snowboarding and skateboarding, right? And he was able to parlay that into a lucrative thing.
It's a video game.
In American sports, if you're a snowboarder, it's not like you're out here making millions of dollars a year like some of the other professional athletes. But Shaun White was. Can Chloe Kim parlay this into, hey, I'm going to get my social media following up to X, and then companies are going to want to sponsor me, and I'm going to get these posts and this stuff. Yeah, be that genuine person, be yourself, build that brand. But I love it, and I think that opens up a world of possibility for her and what she can do with her life.
Yeah, hats off to her, man.
It's going to be interesting. The other one that we want to focus on that we were talking about before, we were actually watching the video of this guy going through it, is the luge. Right?
Crazy.
Chris Mazder wins a silver medal. It's the first medal the United States has ever won in the luge. And at one point in time, right at the very end, he actually was in the lead.
Yeah, by 0.2 of a sec.
0.003, right? It was
tight.
Infinitesimal, but he was right there on the cusp of being the guy. He ends up losing by fractional seconds to the guy who won gold, but America never winning. It actually, watching it, I wonder, why hasn't America won any medals in that sport?
Yeah, it's not even I don't know, it's interesting. It's crazy. You're going 80 miles an hour, going like this. The minute you fly off that thing, you're done.
You see him right on the edges, man, you could slip off that. It's
you hit it like an ice patch or something? I don't know, man. That's crazy.
Have you ever seen skeleton?
No.
So skeleton is the exact same thing as luge, only you go face first.
Yeah, no shot.
And you're going 80 miles an hour face first.
I'm good. That's crazy.
Your chin is...
No, respect it what he did, man. That's hats off.
Anytime you're a trivia answer. Yeah. Forever, right? Who's the first American? You're doing Olympics trivia. Who's the first American ever to win a medal in the luge?
There was another trivia question that people were talking about. Was I forgot her name, but she was doing the ice skating and she did a triple. I'm not, like I said,
triple axel,
whatever. And she was the first American to ever do that. So there's been a couple of firsts that Americans have done in the Olympics. So,
and I think that's the cool thing about the Olympics is because it's once every 4 years, you see big drastic changes
of how the athlete
and stuff from one time to another, because there's so much time in between, and it's not like we're all sitting here watching the luge for the next 4 years till the next one.
Yeah.
Even looking at swimming, Michael, I'm not following Phelps when he was like swimming in random events throughout the course of leading up to the Olympics. It's like, hey, he's in the Olympic qualifier. I see it on TV.
Yep.
Right? Hey, he's in the Olympics. I'm watching him swim. Like, when you get to watch these great events and see these people perform these feats of athleticism and coordination and skill, it's really, really cool. And I think that, like, the Winter Olympics, especially in America, doesn't get the same level of hype as the summer. I think that's one, because there's not as many sports. Two, they're much more obscure. Like guys on skis shooting guns at targets.
Yeah, or like curling.
Yeah,
like summer's like basketball. Hopefully, I think baseball's coming back in 2020.
Yeah.
So things like that.
Yeah, I think that the winter is still cool. It's still interesting to watch those people perform. But shout out to Chris and winning the first medal ever in the luge for America. Guys, like every week, we cut in our moments of greatness. It's fan submitted videos. Anything you guys want to submit to us on Moments OG on Instagram, we will post up the best of every week, so you guys can take a check. These are the best things that happened over the last few weeks.
If you get hit, you're out. Oh. And they're coming to the other side of second base. Here they go to second base. Oh, man down. You gotta touch second. You gotta touch second. You gotta touch second. You gotta touch second. You gotta touch it. There we got a winner. There we got a winner.
Hey guys, like every week, we end our show with the finisher. The finisher this week is Josh McDaniels backs out of the Colts job after they talk about they're doing a press conference to introduce him as the next head coach.
Yeah, we know this is a little, we know that this has been, people know about Josh McDaniels.
Yeah.
What we're diving into is who came after and how this all works out.
Well, I also, interesting that we watched a head coaching position with the Jets kind of about to go to Bill Belichick years ago, and Belichick walked away and did something else. We almost saw McDaniels take this job, and he walked away for something else. The Jets missed out on Belichick, right? Could you imagine if
Jet move?
Could you imagine if the Jets had Belichick? But
say that.
The person that they end up replacing Josh McDaniels with, Frank Reich. He's the owner of the greatest comeback in NFL history, 32-point deficit to win 42-40 in overtime, or 41-38 in overtime against the Houston Oilers at the time. He leads the Bills back. He was the offensive coordinator for the Eagles this year. And we watched the Eagles in the Super Bowl play an extremely creative offensive game plan. I saw plays and I saw things that, I watched things happening and I'm like, why doesn't my team call plays like this?
Yeah.
So it was very interesting. Do you think that the Colts are better off, or do you think the Colts messed this up and this is going to impact them for another few seasons?
I don't think with Frank Reich. Right. I don't think he's a bad. I think he's great. I think sometimes your second best option when things don't work out becomes your best option. I mean, it has to be, but I also think Josh McDaniels, whatever he left, he decided to stay with New England, and they gave him a deal he couldn't refuse to keep his family in New England and his school system and all of that. So listen, I mean, he's putting his family first. I can't really blame him. I mean, his agent came out and said he committed professional suicide. I disagree with that. But I still think the Colts did a good job. I think a lot of Frank's, though, what it depends on is Mr. Luck's shoulder. How is that? If Luck isn't Andrew Luck, can he do the same thing? I don't know. I think it's good. I don't think it's a problem. I mean, we'll see. I don't think they went from here to like that. I think if anything, they may are here and they may go that. He may take them that way. So,
McDaniels didn't do amazingly well as the Denver Broncos head coach.
Mm-hmm.
He drafted Tim Tebow in the first round. He committed to that experiment that failed. And he had a team around him that as soon as he was removed and Tebow was removed, they bring in Peyton Manning and they win Super Bowl, right? And Josh McDaniels was the guy before that. Now, you have to look at that and you have to say, in the other years that he was there and the other time that he was there, maybe he put together a really solid team that ended up being the bones for what became the Super Bowl winning Broncos team.
Yeah.
But maybe he wasn't ready. It wasn't the right time. And you look at that, and the Colts roster is in bad shape. I can't look at you and tell you, hey, the Colts have a really great, and name anything.
Yeah,
right?
Besides Andrew Luck when he's healthy.
But even Andrew Luck, I have no idea what Andrew Luck's going to be at this point in time in his career, right? If his arm, if his stuff, it's not the same, right? He's not going to necessarily be the quarterback. He just missed an entire year, and they still don't know if he's going to come back. And to think that your situation offensively is there. Now, they trade for Jacoby Brissett, who was a nice player. I think that you can win games around Jacoby Brissett if you have the underlying foundation of what a team is. But I think that job was going to be a difficult job for any coach. And for Josh McDaniels, who failed already once, if he fails again, you're never a head coach again, right? You better want to walk in. And that's where I look at Belichick and I say, Belichick was looking at a situation with the Jets that he didn't think that they were going to be successful for the longer term. And he looked at the Patriots and said, I think I have better bones there. I can take that team over, and I have my quarterback. I have my this. I have my that. And I could walk in there. Because even before there was Brady, there was Drew Bledsoe. And Drew Bledsoe was an all-pro level quarterback, right? The year after they traded him for a first-round pick, he led the league in passing. Yeah. It's not like the Patriots didn't have a lot of interesting things. The Jets didn't. And I can't look at Belichick and say he made a bad choice.
No.
So I look at McDaniels and I say, okay, that might be difficult. And for Frank Reich, he hasn't been a coordinator for an extremely long period of time. I think there's low expectations for him, so you're not going to get killed in your first year if the team is bad again. I think that they need to look at their situation and they need to start preparing for what do we have if we don't have Luck. They've got no running back, really. Marlon Mack's okay. Frank Gore was old. Your receivers, T.Y. Hilton walked away. You traded Dorsett. You're sitting there now, and I don't think that they have
a lot of pieces.
I think that it would be better for them to bottom out. And that's just my opinion. But like every week with the finisher, we want you guys to tell us what you think. Message us or leave a comment at the bottom of the video here. Let us know, do you think that the Colts are going to be better off with Frank Reich, or do you think they missed out on Josh McDaniels? And guys, we will see you next week. Thanks for watching.
See you later.